Well, Blake Lively's shady company Van Zandt has officially been exposed by the Daily Mail. We have this resurfaced beef between...
Reese Witherspoon is one of the most powerful women in Hollywood.
A story of reinvention, secrecy, and the toll of fame. Basically a mirror of the very industry it was birthed in. Witherspoon wasn't just acting anymore. She was curating stories that mattered, with women at the center, raw and complicated. The Quiet Years was supposed to be her next crown jewel. But then, the Whisper network got louder. Executives started acting cagey. Emails that once got instant replies now returned silence. A rival producer, someone she once helped get their first big option deal, swooped in with a strangely similar concept and a better release slot. Suddenly, meetings got cancelled. The budget shrank, and just like that, the Quiet Years went quiet. This wasn't just a Hollywood hiccup. It was the kind of soft betrayal that cuts deeper than a leaked scandal. And Reese? She had seen it before. But this time, she had receipts. The story centered on two estranged sisters returning home after a tragedy. It wasn't flashy or loud, but it was quietly powerful and good. Then came the casting issue for the younger sister, a role crucial to the show's emotional core. Reese had her own short list of actresses who fit her vision, but the studio had another idea: Blake Lively. At the time, she seemed like the perfect pick. Blake had a pristine public image, a friendly rapport with the press, and most importantly, a solid relationship with Witherspoon. So naturally, Reese agreed, and that's when things slowly began to unravel. It started with harmless tweaks. Blake's team requested a few small script changes to flesh out her character. Just a line here, a moment there. Then came wardrobe. As a fashion icon, Blake needed a more elevated look. Of course, it would stay within the show's aesthetic, but she'd handle the styling herself. Reese didn't mind. She believed in collaboration. Reese stepped back and watched things quietly unfold. But by the second week, the cracks were impossible to ignore. The original costume designer, hired by her company, was suddenly out. At the next script meeting, Blake showed up with a producer in tow. She wasn't contracted as a producer, but somehow, she was now offering narrative revisions. The director, unsettled by the shift in dynamics, began calling Reese privately. One email read, "I'm trying to keep this rooted in your vision, but they're pitching a tonal shift that feels like a different show. They want something younger, glossier, more branded." Reese didn't reply, not to that email, not to any of them. And that's what made it strange, because Reese Witherspoon is known for calling things out, but Reese had her own plans. She began forwarding documents to her legal team, because Reese Witherspoon wasn't new to the game. She'd seen it all before. Actresses turning branding into leverage, productions derailed by quiet power grabs. She wasn't going to stop it. She was going to let it happen and make sure everyone knew exactly who was steering the ship now. At first, no one outside the walls of the studio suspected anything. No Instagram posts, no comments, just silence. Reese Witherspoon watched as the project unraveled. Quietly, her name disappeared from production call sheets. Her company, Hello Sunshine, pulled funding from 3 departments: catering, costume, and marketing. No press release, no warning, just clean, calculated exits. The studio panicked. They scrambled to patch things up, offering to restyle the tune, show, massage the media narrative, even proposed that Reese stay on as an executive producer, just not as the lead actress. But Reese didn't respond. She'd already made up her mind. In a closed-door meeting with her legal team, she said just 6 words. Let her carry it alone now. Soon, people began noticing. Reese Witherspoon's name was no longer on the credits. neither as executive producer nor as star. Whispers spread inside the company. Writers loyal to Reese's original version of the story began quietly walking away. The female director, handpicked by Reese, resigned too. The soul of the show was gone. Meanwhile, Blake stayed silent. She kept showing up on set, kept smiling, kept posting behind-the-scenes snapshots with captions like, "This one's special." But for those who had read the original script, something felt off. It didn't feel like a real drama anymore. It wasn't powerful. It was worse. It was careful, cold. And then the first trailer dropped in early June 2023. It had everything Blake's team had wanted. Golden sunset lighting, soft emotional voiceovers, slow motion shots of Blake walking through wheat fields in a $4,000 linen coat. And the original script had been raw, intimate. It was about trauma, healing, and the unspoken memories women carry. What Blake delivered felt more like a luxury perfume ad with monologues. Fans noticed. The depth was gone. The honesty replaced with aesthetic. That same week, Vogue dropped a cover story, Blake Lively, reclaiming the Southern story. Inside, a 2-page spread showed Blake barefoot in a lace dress, standing in front of a reconstructed plantation set. There was no mention of Reese, no recognition of the company that built the project. Just a thin credit line at the bottom of a page, easy to miss and easier to ignore. Critics once silent spoke. Writers who had championed Reese's earlier work began reposting their old praise, with updated captions like, "We miss when stories were grounded."